season premiere of the Rimward campaign for House SupQit'aH, follow up to the Tales of the Fall and Rise. So we'll be started there in a moment. The Tales of the I am echoing. There we go. That's exactly what I was checking for. Boop. Let all the people know that I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, so history is written by victors whom have never borne witness to the events of time. Great people, great houses, and even the great empire itself has legends that pass the lips of warriors across space and time. Legends of warriors who lived much, fought much, and honored not only their ancestors, but inspired their descendants. From the hand of Kahless strapped to his chair, to his victory over the Romulans, to his disappearance into the stars and promise of return. These are the great tales that modern Klingons dispute to the point of steel and blood. We now look to House SupQit'aH in the Rimward expanses, many light years beyond the influence of the Klingon Empire, and very, very close to their allies and rivals, the United Federation of Planets. In this region of space, there is a new campaign that shall see the glory of the Empire, hopefully, the glory of House SupQit'aH. Hello, everyone. So everything was crooked. Don't mind me, everyone. So let's get this. Oh, but I don't know why you'd need to see that. That's not helpful. There we go. There. Now you can see something useful. All right. So, why am I looking at this? This is not helping me. Sorry, just getting something. Nope. When nothing goes right with your stream, and everything goes wrong. Oh. One second. I think I just missed something.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Your rule is crooked. My rule is unchallenged. Also, yeah, you're right. It was crooked. Much to my annoyance. Oh, Four Gathers, thank you very much for the follow. I was alerted after the fact, but thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. So. Oh. What am I missing? Oh, that's what I was setting up. I was setting up to make sure I could see the chat. So when people say things, I could respond to it. That'd be smart. There we go. So, our first scene will be in the war room aboard the command ship of the fleet. And that is the, I want to say the other ships, that's not it. It is the Maymok. Everything loads in super slowly. There we go. Where the lore singer Sasir is situated. As having meetings at the audience chamber is not exactly helpful at the moment, since we are very, very far away from Bamoth, the capital and home system of the House SupQit'aH. No battle music. That's not what we need right now. Sure, this one. In theory. There we go. After weeks of some examination and study, House SupQit'aH, HUD of the Klingon within the Klingon Defense Force, has been examined rather thoroughly by Dr. Efrix of the United Federation of Planets aboard Deep Space Arcania to determine what exactly the heart he inserted into himself was. A crystalline, sentient entity, the last remnant of the sentient psionic crystal people, the Kashoans. He has gotten a full and clean bill of health, and as far as anyone can tell, his heart is working perfectly fine, although quite anomalously, but further study would have been nice. However, the House needs him, as does the Empire. But before all that, the lore singer requests an audience with them in the war room. Ododa?
I don't think he's here yet.
Oh no, I did not see the BRB. What timing? What timing is this? Well, fine.
Like 2 minutes.
She will instead meet with Lahona.
And he's back.
I'm good at timing, everybody. I swear. I have 26 episodes. I'm not lying. I swear. Do not watch any of them because you'll find proof I'm lying. Hod Oda then is requested to speak with the Zhou of House SupQit'aH.
The lore singer?
Yes.
Of course. I'm in the war room doing all sorts of paperwork, because that's what happens after an action.
Zhou, I wish to speak with you regarding house matters before we speak of imperial matters.
Very well. What is on your mind, lore singer?
I am aware that from the reports of the battle aboard the Dusk Machine that there was a incident in the presence of various warriors between yourself and Zhou Amdris.
You mean when he attempted to interfere with my taking of the Kasho heart?
Indeed, Zhou. I know, and have looked into this, that this is a matter where blood and steel contradict each other, where the intent of the warrior is mixed with the appearance of what occurred. It seems that Hona's zeal for vengeance for his fallen overtook the moment for him. Now, normally, if this was simply between yourself and him, it would be a disagreement between siblings, a thing that I could easily point out to each of you, and simply say that sometimes good Klingons both strive for the same mountaintop, and they tend to jostle each other. No one means any challenge by it, just simply happenstance. Unfortunately, despite any well-meaning intentions by Hona and your rightful claim to your glory, there is, of course, the appearance that he challenged you. Even yourself, before I told you anything till now, I could hear the answer to challenge in your growl.
He did not reach out and try and thwart me just between the two of us struggling over some trinket, or merely in front of the other high members of the house, but in the face of the enemy itself. This cannot stand.
She nods. Of course not, Joe. Klingons are warriors of steel, but they are warriors of blood. No self-respecting Joe could let this go, no matter the reason. However, I present an option that does not involve cutting off our hand for its offense. If you would hear it.
Speak, but be aware that despite the passage of 2 weeks, my blood still boils to think on this.
She smiles. As any good Joe should. My suggestion to you is to demand of Hona a object of fealty. It is a old tradition, little practiced, some would say antiquated, but frankly, I think it is quite fitting for a house as ancient as ours. Well, yours, more accurately.
You are of this house as well, and the two of us have brought back several old traditions, and particularly in our reports to the High Council.
Until such time as the Emperor recognizes the full citizenship of his alien subjects, I am but a mere hired expert. I am no Klingon. But that is a matter of philosophy and politics that I won't bore you with at this time. Although later, I will gladly bore you of it. But
Side note, GM, out of character, has she not been formally inducted into the house?
she is a lore singer. She is as high rank as a non-Klingon can get, really. Like, she doesn't have a military rank of any kind. She is in no place. She can never inherit or command the house. But she is considered the expert on anything to do with SupQuit'aH, which she's the first of her the first non-Klingon to achieve that rank.
Right. So I forget what the ritual is called, but like when Martok took Worf into the house, that hasn't been done.
No.
For her, and that's usually not done with non-Klingons. I'm going kind of with Dax, but
yeah, that's what it's doable, but it gets tricky. Like, okay. Dax is of Martok through marriage, but she wasn't inducted as a sister necessarily. Like, she wasn't done in and of herself. And that's something Cecire's kind of been pushing for. Like, she's been pushing to make that more of an integration. Like, if through glory and merit one could become it, rather than simply through marriage or happenstance. Like, Quark became the head of his own bloody house, which she's like, okay,
right.
Maybe we should move on. Maybe we should move on in society, as it were. But
okay, cool.
Yes. But yes, one day perhaps.
Quickly, while we're still out of character.
Yeah.
Just to keep this into consideration, me as a player, I was not active in that conversation with the War Council on that day. So, just keep that in mind.
Well, narratively, I'm just playing it to explain how we're going forward with this. There's a narrative point to all this. Don't worry. I'm not just killing your character off randomly, because that's not fun, frankly. That's not fun for you. That's not fun for me. So.
Hona was unaware of it as a character, and as a player, I was totally unaware of any of this going on. That had I known, things might have been different.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be
get muted during the War Council that day because I was also doing the graduation.
Yeah. I'll talk more on that later after the stream. But moving things along. So the ancient tradition of sending a warrior to a quest of fealty is one that even SupQit'aH went on when he first earned his title. Although he didn't go on intentionally, he simply earned it through action. Likewise, the Joe Amdris can do something for you, either through conquering a great ship, or conquering a planet, or obtaining some item that you treasure greatly, or just simply wish to have. What that is of course up to you, but I would suggest, in spirit of common blood and common house, that a certain level of collaboration occur, so that it is something that you of course want, but as some more vengeful houses in the past have done, sometimes the quest for fealty is something that is another means of execution. I believe one quest for fealty was conquer Romulus. Another was get me the head of Captain Kirk. Now that was actually somewhat possible, but that's troubling for someone to achieve. So I believe that once we have our war council, we will be able to, between the two great Joes, we'll be able to discern the best way for him to prove himself in single act of fealty. Whatever he conquers or claims, he gifts to you, to acknowledge before in letter of law and in passion his loyalty.
The quest of fealty. This seems an honorable tradition.
One not practiced due to the death marches it tended to incur. It was a way to get rid of troublesome vassals without actually killing them.
Well, I have no desire to kill Hona. His enthusiasm that sometimes overcomes his better sense aside. He is a strong warrior and can always be counted on to take the fight to the enemy. My only question is, until we know what the Chancellor in the Empire asks of House SupQit'aH next, it is difficult to know exactly where to point Hona.
Hence why... Oh.
Go ahead.
Hence why the War Council we hold will be informative of the quest. I would not advise sending him on a quest anywhere in the sector until we're sure what the Chancellor wants of us here. He could have recalled us even while you were ill. He ordered us to simply stay in position until you were awake and able to be briefed, which usually isn't a thing done outside of wartime, I will note.
It indicates that he has some purpose in mind for us here.
She nods.
Very, very well. I will accept this quest of fealty as an appropriate response to the incident on the Dusk Station.
Shall I call for War Council then? Or would you wish to simply be briefed by the Chancellor in private? The discretion is, of course, yours, both as HUD and Joe.
Well, I'm sure the Chancellor will inform us should he wish it to be an eyes-only conversation. So yes, summon the council. And I will blank the various quote-unquote paperwork from the console that I've been working on.
La Hona, Jo of Amdris, is summoned. As is... I gotta correct this. It is no longer Captain Aurelius, it is Daimon Aurelius. A Ferengi, an independent daimon for his own glory, but also a servant, an employee, a better way to put it, of House SupQit'aH.
don't forget the Syndicate.
Hey, not the Syndicate. Just friends of Cecile, that's all. Jo Andrus, Diamond Aurelius, if you would but sit.
Of course.
Of course.
How do you do, Jo Oda? How fares the new conquered sector?
They have made no conquest yet, but according to the Federation doctors, I'm fine, which I could have told them when I walked in 2 weeks ago. Slightly the worst for wear from a bit of overindulgence in blood wine with the victorious troops. But other than that, well, and eager to find out exactly why the Chancellor has asked us to remain in this sector.
That is a fair question. What is it that keeps us in Bemoth for the time being?
We're way away from Bemoth.
We're,
Where are we then?
we're in the Shosku system.
The what now system?
Shosku.
Tiger Squadron speed.
We're in Federation space currently near Deep Space Aracania.
We'll reformat that question to what keeps us here in the Shosku sector? Does Chancellor Martok see something here? Perhaps he also has ears for profit.
There are opportunities here for the Empire and for the House. Something Jotelpok and I have already discussed, albeit very briefly. Hopefully we shall learn more during this council.
Jo SupQit'aH, the Chancellor, is ready to be brought on screen.
Do so.
And the face of Martok appears on one of the screens, seated inside his private office in the palace on Konos. A grand chamber, brightly lit by fire, draped with his banners. And he is, of course, dressed in his regalia, as any good chancellor should be.
Hail Martok, Chancellor of the Klingon Empire.
Oda, it is good to see that you are well. The Federation doctors assure me that your unique way of eating hearts did not give you a stomachache. Ha!
Well, it seemed the best way to at least fulfill the spirit of my vow, if not the letter. I fear Crystal does not agree with my enamel.
I imagine you're wondering why I've stuck your fleet in Federation space for so long.
The thought has crossed.
Well, your house has done mine well. You have fought beside me. Your father spoke well of mine and of me. And you have fought for the glory of the Empire alongside our allies twice now. Have repelled invaders, at least on one occasion, and treason on another. You are a great house of only one sector. Of one sector is the problem. I have no objection to this sort of thing. I held very little land when I achieved chancellorship. I had very little land when I was a general. My glory held me aloft. And in my mind, you are a good ally of Martok and a brave warrior of the Empire. However, there are other great houses that would see yours fell. You've seen how long it took you to get to your location. You've seen how many governors feel brave enough to stand up to you. Mere planetary governors. One world, a handful of ships able to stop a great house. That cannot stand.
I quite agree. But you do us great honor, and we thank you for it.
For this, I have plans for you. Normally, we would conquer some world or another, some species or another, or fell some dishonorable house. You've already done these things, hence your mastery over Bemoth Sector. Hence your vassalship of Rasa and Amdris. But that still leaves you a single sector. I need you to expand your power. That power cannot come from Klingon territory. Certainly isn't going to come from the Romulans anytime soon. Aside from the few liberation raids we'll be able to enact. And the Federation, he shrugs. Battling the Federation is not in the Empire's interest or mine. So we must find a new prey. One that you do not jockey with your fellow houses for, and one that the Federation will not quibble and sob over. You need look only to the trailing edge of your sector, to these unexplored Peugeot worlds and beyond. I want you to establish yourself by conquer, by vassalship, by whatever means. I want your house to not only be master of Bemoth, but be master of the Far Rim. So that any who may have designs on your house may not be so afraid of Bemoth, but they will be afraid of the Rimward fleet flying across and smashing into any that would defy House SupQit'aH and House Martok.
This suits me well, Chancellor. I thank you for the honor and the opportunity. We will not fail.
Know this, though. Though the Federation will not cry loudly at your conquests, there is one arm of Starfleet that will be watching us. The so-called...
Tiger Squadron.
He nods. You got it in one. They, according to my intelligence, have been tasked with maintaining the peace and stability of their Tallgrass sector. This does not involve Peugeot, however, as we both know, the Federation does not ignore the fire outside their door. They are not fools.
Indeed.
Which also means that it is likely they will be making diplomatic reaches into the area to attempt to fold some, either by alliance or indeed membership into the Federation. You will be fighting war and diplomacy.
Well, we are fit for either battlefield. But yes, the Federation's greatest asset is their patience. What they do not conquer immediately, over decades, they wear down until their targets are seduced by their technology and their peaceful modes of existence and join them willingly.
This mission, this campaign, I leave to you, Joseph SupQit'aH. And I would advise you not to leave your home sector undefended, but I will not be able to lend you further strength from the larger Imperial fleet. You are on your own. As much as a house can be on their own, friends of mine.
Ha! Understood. You do us a great honor. We will expand the holdings of our house and thereby the holdings of the Empire.
Long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire. Kapla.
When his face disappears, Sasir just kind of, okay. No small tasks, just conquer the whole edge of a rim that we've never explored. She rubs her head, like just the headache obvious. So, not to add to our complications for the day, Joe, but I have been doing my best to put off a meeting with a representative of Tiger Squadron, one Captain Pend.
Pend of the Achilles.
She nods. It is his Achilles that is now peacekeeping over the Dusk Machine, while the Qua quarrel among themselves for their princely throne.
He too it was that led those glorious assaults, the fixing attack against 3 different Qua fleets with just one ship. A formidable warrior from all reports.
And a dangerous diplomat we need not ignore. I would normally ignore the questionings of Starfleet officers. I've had to do it before. But I felt that was not in your interests, and I wanted to leave it to you if you wish to spurn him or not, though I advise not.
Agreed. I will meet with this Captain Pend and see what he has to say.
Before we do that, of course, I would recommend we discuss a possibility of fealty.
Odo will bring up the map of kind of our new area of operations. I've put it kind of in the Discord chat. Hona, I don't know if you can see it.
I can, if it means anything to you.
Okay.
And also you can see it in the game. Map.
Perfecto.
So to give you an idea, you guys are here in the Shoshu sector, currently based out of Deep Space Arcania, the headquarters of Tiger Squadron, a squadron of the 10th Expeditionary Fleet. There is the nearest Federation world is the Anat system, little populated, and rest of the Federation basically goes. Whoops, you can't see my marker. Hold on. Rest of it goes that way. So Federation goes that way, and then that's Rim, that's Coreward. If you go straight up, you go into unclaimed space, except for this one Qua held world, but there's like a whole sector of unclaimed space, like basically a big gap where there's very few stars, and then beyond that, it's Gorn space, as is seen in the Discord. But this is the Peugeot subsector, 1/4 of the entire Peugeot, well, of the wider sector. This area is actually named. The rest, no one knows what it's called. Well, these people probably do, but neither House SupQit'aH nor the Federation knows what they're called yet.
And this Baron Udek is the Baron who is supporting now Star Admiral Koshi, right? Or who she had some relationship with him, right?
Yep. The Baron is the governor of Liliri, and he is also a supporter of the Star Admiral Koshi.
Okay.
The GM knows what it is called, chat, once he looks it up. I have like this massive document of all the various systems in this sector, so I will find out when they find out, as it were.
So, to my mind, the first thing we need is a system of operations beyond Federation space, one that we conquer and claim as our own. Either on the opposite side of the Qua Principality or Rimward, below the I don't know what this principality, not the Chigo concern, but there was another one that was down in this area?
This is the was the 5-system alliance, now the 3-system
Right.
Chico alliance.
But there's another principality in this region too, right?
There's the
Besides-
Woohoo Illuminated Worlds, and there's the Quaqua Principality.
No, you're referring to their 2 vassal states, which are like down this way.
The
Yeah,
Waxo and the
free-
Steffi.
Okay.
The
so
free
they're
wor-
vassals. Okay. Go ahead.
And these are the free worlds. They're not united, other than that they are. These 4 worlds actually have a trade alliance with all the major powers in the subsector. But there's more independent worlds that aren't part of any particular faction. They're just small independent worlds, either because they're so low tech or because they're too annoying to conquer.
Okay.
At least for the local powers.
We need to find a system rich in resources to exploit in order to build the infrastructure we will need and to provide a base of operations and repair. I would think that our best choices for such would be, where's the tool? Either anti-spinward of the Quaqua Principality or Rimward from the client states of the Quaqua and the Woohoo and these non-aligned worlds. What do we know of this area of space beyond these polities? Anything? Any kind of survey reports from either ourselves or our Federation allies?
Nothing. The House Telepoc has been largely absorbed, battling, seeking out the traitors to the Empire throughout Tallgrass and Federation space, and has chased some of them even into Woohoo world space. So our fleet got the furthest any Klingon fleet's really gotten is where the Dusk Machine now sits. We've never expanded further than that. As far as the Federation, they have only been treating with these polities for the last couple of years, and mired in this, from one crisis to another. It's only now that it's actually calmed down enough that we can even consider inserting ourselves into the melee.
Very well. And these non-aligned worlds are members of this Peugeot Star Alliance? This ineffectual...
It is a sort of trade alliance, a weaker version of the Ferengi alliance. Far less of no united fleet to speak of, but a common commerce authority that they answer to, trade laws and so on, and contract disputes.
Very well. Lahoda, I have a mission for you.
Oops. Cut to the war room. Whoops, not the whole bloody map.
Ooh, I'm way zoomed out.
He's listening intently.
You will find us this base of operations that we need. A system or more if possible. It must be resource rich so that we can build the things we need. As the Chancellor noted, we are far from home and on our own. The closest Klingon territory lies 50 light years anti-spinward. And so we must be prepared to subsist off the land, as it were.
Understood.
I do not care whether you seek this base of operations anti-spinward from the Peugeot subsector are Rimward. But we must maintain a buffer zone between our new base of operations, and the current border of Federation space. So be wary. Attempt in any event. I know that in some part you will be guided by what is available, what the gods have given us in this region. But attempt to leave us a little breathing room between the Empire and our Federation allies. I leave it to you to determine the best systems to take, and any sentience that may be in them. Some with some level of relatively advanced infrastructure might be of more help, but when it comes down to it, we can build what we need and trade for others. This is your mission.
Understood.
Let's see. You may take 2 ships to begin your scouting process. If more are needed for the conquest, you can, of course, call upon them at that point. I would recommend the Quill-U for its troop-carrying capacity and its expanded shuttle bays to give you some level of fighter support. You can also take the Havtach, the advanced heavy fighter. And you may choose among our other vessels, with the exception, of course, of the Memach, which I will retain as my command ship.
As for the other ship, I would like to take the sister ship to the manga, the Dark Sphere.
The Herknajej?
Yes.
Or the manga? Okay.
The sister ship to the manga.
Oh, sorry, the manga and what? Sorry.
I just want the Dark Sphere.
The sister ship, the Herknajej.
Oh, you just want. Oh, oh, I understand. Sorry, I misheard.
I couldn't pronounce that. And of course, I'll take the Quill as well.
Okay, so I'll mark these as currently assigned to Hona. Well,
the successful completion of this quest of yours will put to rest all of the discord that has risen between us. And once again, we will face a hostile universe as brothers.
Understood.
Now, Daimon Arillis.
Diamond Rose has to step away briefly.
Oh, yes, I see.
We're good at this timing thing. The one thing we can ask of this Captain Pend is he did go some distance rimward to assail the Awaxo and Staffy carrier fleets during the battle as a preamble to the Dusk Machine battle. So he may have some insights that no one else is holding right now. And with your permission,
One would like to sit in on that meeting.
that would be wise, Joe Emdris. The one other thing I was going to ask of you, Joe SupQuit'aH, is I would like, with your permission, to advise the Joe Emdris if there should come about through my non-traditional contacts to any information that may further his quests. Should he need it, of course. If he has his own designs, I will not interfere.
Granted. Hona, our operations depend upon your success in this. Go. When you leave, bring glory to your house and to SupQuit'aH. And to the Empire.
Joe SupQuit'aH, might it not be wise for him to meet, to also meet with this Captain Pend to see what intel he has?
Yes. I was merely underlining the importance.
Oh. Apologies, Joe. I thought from your wording that you were dismissing him. My Klingon must be using the wrong Klingon dialect in my own mind.
Now, I should like very much to make contact with either Star Admiral Koshi or this Baron... What was his name?
Udek.
It's Baron Udek, to which she at least did owe allegiance. I do not believe the Federation's prime directive will allow them to interfere in this secession conflict amongst the Quaqua. We, of course, operate under no such constraints, and being of assistance to the winning side might well gain us a valuable ally in this sector.
A wise course, Joe. Although first, before all that, you may wish to declare the dictates of our new campaign. Should you wish to shift, I imagine you wish to shift them from our previous campaign, as it were.
Yes, this will require some thought.
I'll be sure to remind you again later, Joe. I simply wish to highlight the point before Glory got ahead of the inevitable task of administration. She smiles at that because that's entirely her job.
Logistics will be of primary concern, especially in these beginning phases. Anything we attempt to have shipped to us from Bamoth will take well over 100 days to reach us. Even if we can make some sort of alliance or agreement with the governor of the Katal sector, even that is nearly a month's journey at Warp 7.
And that's assuming nothing hostile interferes.
We know of at least one supposedly highly advanced civilization between the Peugeot sector and the Klingon Empire itself. This Udri technocracy. As I understand it, the Quaqua have some knowledge of them, thus another reason to ally ourselves. Now, Daimon Aurelius.
Yes, Joe.
As you see, this is a rich subsector with many polities already well established in trading with each other and now the Federation. I believe that you will be of greatest service and profit in making connections and contacts among these various worlds, particularly the Woohoo and the Quaqua. As I said, the Federation's prime directive will prevent them from interfering too much in these societies, but the Klingon Empire and the Ferengi Alliance don't have such restrictive rules.
You stand corrected there, Joe. We do not indeed.
So, I want you to do what you do best. Set up trade relationships and trade alliances, and through them learn everything you can about these people in this sector. See what they need and what they can offer.
And if their offer is not good enough for you, Joe?
Well, then it is your job to bring them around to making an offer that is acceptable, or determining what they need that we might be able to provide that would cause them to up their offer.
Of course, Joe Buddha.
Again, we are operating here completely on our own, and our own resources and those we are able to develop will be the key to our success or failure. My intention is not to make any more enemies than absolutely necessary among these Peugeot Star Alliance. I feel that they might best be used as a kind of active buffer between our operations and those of the Federation and this Tiger Squadron.
Trust me, Joe. Gold-plated Latinum is a language all on its own. When it starts to speak, others listen.
There's truth in your words, Ferengi, but also remember, from everything our intelligence reports about this sector, the Federation, in the form of this Tiger Squadron, has found their extremities in something of a targ grinder. It is very easy to get tangled up with these people.
I wish not to step on the Federation's toes, but if they think they can outbid a Ferengi, they're more than welcome to try.
Well, it's not that I am so concerned with as getting drawn into these petty local squabbles. Again, I see this subsector as being best as an active buffer that we can use to our advantage and keep the Federation more occupied than with our own efforts at establishing a base first and then expanding Rimward.
But Joe, if I may make a suggestion really quickly. When the Federation diplomat arrives here, try to avoid words as conflict or conquering. The Federation types don't really take kindly to them. Speaking from experience, of course.
He is quite right. They are very precious about such words.
If I may, Joda, present our plan to them as you would an economic takeover rather than a military one. Of course, your plans being what they are shall remain, but a masquerade of sorts to conceal our true intentions. For if the enemy knows our true intentions, they can put a stop to them. Yet, they cannot turn their lobes to danger if they do not know danger is approaching.
I do not know what plans you speak of, Ferengi. So far as I know, you are doing what Ferengi do with a new marketplace, and that really has nothing to do with me. And as for us, well, after having witnessed the Dusk Machine and the potential for quadrant-wide catastrophe that these psychics' powers present, is it any wonder that the Chancellor would like to have a presence in this region? And as for our plans, why, there is plenty of unexplored space.
Of course, Joe,
Between
of course.
here and the Klingon Empire.
Merely what I was saying was, when you are speaking to Federation diplomats, avoid certain words in your vocabulary. Words that Klingons tend to use a lot.
I shall confine my terms to exploration and discovery and scientific research.
Oh, grand. The Federation loves that one.
Hopefully I will not have to be quite such a diplomat so soon. From everything I hear, this Captain Pind is far more blunt than most Federation officers, certainly more than that child man, Harmon Grinnan, of whom there are apparently more than one, I might add.
Ah, yes, that captain. I have heard some tales, but best not to get into details.
There must be something to him. He looks like a child, but commands Tiger Squadron. Very well.
Gold-plated Latinum can buy you a lot of things, even in the Federation.
Very well. Hona and the Lore Singer and I will meet with this Captain Pin, and then Hona will begin his search for our base of operations. You, Diamond Aurelius, may begin your entry into this lucrative new marketplace.
Before I depart, Joe, would you like me to gather some information? The world, well, the galaxy rather, is filled with information brokers who would love nothing more than a few bars of latinum for whatever may be lying rimward of here.
Gather every scrap of information you may, although I don't believe I need to tell you that sometimes what one sees with one's own eyes, or, and he kind of looks over at Aurelius, hears with one's own ears, is far more reliable than what one pays for from a supposed expert.
Of course. I was suggesting I could gather some information on the sector of the rim we have not yet explored. Perhaps the FCA has been there where no Klingon has ever gone before. It could be worth investigating.
It is well thought. See what you can discover.
Of course.
Daimon,
Yes, Joe?
please keep in mind that while I, of course, wish you to have a profitable, highly profitable experience in this sector, that House SupQit'aH is your protection and your, in some ways, employer. So, to put it in terms you might understand, don't forget our cut. As the humans would say, certain birds can become very angry when their beaks are not wetted.
Oh, Joe, you really know how to make my lobes tingle. Very well. Your cut will not be forgotten.
See that it does not. Is there anything else we should consider before we close the War Council and bring in this, or meet this Captain Pind?
Nothing that is beyond speculation. I have some information that I will be looking into in the coming days while we're near Deep Space Arcania, but it's enough to say for now that I believe that Tiger Squadron is shuffling its ranks a little, but I don't know exactly to what end. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Understood.
Shall I summon the captain?
Please.
Goes to the computer. And Captain Pend. You're finally able to see the bloody House SupQit'aH. You've been after this guy for over a week. Before all that, you do have a chance to roll presence plus command opposed to see if you learned anything off of your interactions with Cecile over that time. No momentum is generated from this. It's friendly versus friendly, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
I don't think we're enemies quite yet.
Just yet.
Give it time. It's wrong sheet. This one.
Would you allow... I've got 3 focuses that might apply for different reasons. I'd like to go with strategy and tactics to try and figure out what they're doing here and why.
Okay.
But I also have negotiation and team dynamics.
Depends what you're trying to learn. It would kind of color what you're learning. So if you want to get strategy and tactics, that'd be the one.
Yeah, I think I want to go strategy and tactics because it's all good and well. We've got extra Klingons here, but why are they here?
Very good.
I'll spend a threat.
Joe, would you like her to spend a threat as well?
Yes, please.
And 4 is 14. Yep, you beat her by 1. You learn, at least during that time, she wouldn't have known about the Chancellor's briefing during that week, but she would have suspected, because she is a lore singer, and that requires a person to be somewhat perceptive of the flow of history. She gets the feeling, and she talks around it quite a bit, but she gets the feeling that there is a larger campaign or battle ahead. Not against the Federation, otherwise they wouldn't be just sitting here at DSE all this time. So it's probably something else. What exactly, she doesn't know, and you get the feeling she actually doesn't know. She genuinely hasn't been told yet.
There's definitely clearly a purpose for her extended stay.
Yeah,
that's still better than nothing.
Yeah, like there's you don't have a squadron of ships just hovering around somewhere to do nothing. Like that's a waste of resources. There's pirates and planets to be conquered. And they are a long way from home, so one doesn't hang about like that for no reason.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I'll just have for my eventual meeting, get a couple of pads set to one side because I definitely need to keep these Klingons in check.
It's one of those, you didn't want to put this meeting off. It's like, no, this needs to be, now that you can talk to them, this is the perfect, you need to deal with them. Alright, so you step through the doors into the War Council room aboard the Maymok.
Hod'Udda?
Captain Pend. You are welcome indeed. Long have I looked forward to hearing the tale of how you kept 3 entire Quaqua fleets busy with a single ship.
Oh, you get used to it, especially with a vessel such as my own.
Yes, the Achilles seems quite the impressive ship.
Well, if you wish to test it out later on, I'd be happy to oblige. But for now, let's remain civil.
Very well. Can I offer you blood wine or perhaps a rock de Gino? I also have fresh gach if you're hungry.
No, I think I'll pass for now. I'll have something tasteful when I leave.
Well, no accounting for taste, I suppose.
Yes, to each their own.
An excellent philosophy.
But I believe it's only fair, as I've looked upon you and your house, that you should have an idea of who you're truly dealing with. And he'll hand a pad out to Lahona, Hod'Udda, and Losingers to say. And it's got actual Penn's record, including the previously hidden stuff.
Sorry, the whole bit?
Yeah, it's got the whole bit, including his relations.
Oh my god, I don't know if I even know all of that as a player.
Feel free to introduce your character in full, in summary, but in full.
Yeah. So, Captain Pend, the adopted son of Aslan Shishre, former member of Section 31, and current captain of the USS Achilles. Just brief it for you.
And currently considered the Strategic Operation Officer of Tiger Squadron, so the XO of the entire squadron.
Yeah, and that report would also have on the list of most of his illegal operations. Just give me a moment. I actually need to scroll for a certain channel. Found it.
Oops. I'm glad you found it.
Dude, it's right near the fucking top of character stories.
Are you putting it somewhere for us, or?
Yeah, it's. I need to do it in multiple parts. Just 1 second.
Right, yeah, of course.
Well, actually, I can probably... You can link it. You can link the message. I just have to find you.
Oh, can I?
Yep. That's a Discord thing. Where are you? There you are. So... Copy message link. Going to...
Oh shit, you can.
Yep. Bang.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, purposely leaves that information in so he understands he's not dealing with a diplomat, he's dealing with a warrior.
And a spy.
Well, Section 31 doesn't faze Oda too much because he sincerely believes that it's this whole story about it being some sort of rogue thing is just a complete, ridiculous cover come up with by the Federation to, for their, black ops
I
arm
agree
of
with
intelligence. So which it makes sense that you would have, because who doesn't have one of those in their, in their empire's intelligence services? So, an impressive and entertaining record, Captain. I admit I am somewhat surprised that you would be quite so open with us on this.
Well, one, I'm not ashamed of what I've done in the past. I'm not afraid of the relationship between your house and my relations. And it also helps with the fact of it's best if we start with being honest with each other for our intentions.
A true warrior wears his blade openly.
May I ask something, Joe?
Yes.
Captain, do you intend to uphold your family's vendetta against SupQuit'aH?
Would you like me to?
If you are, I am duty-bound to protect my Joe from your efforts. as is Lahona. Jo Emdris, by the way. And you can hear the threat, like you can feel that she's ready to pull something from her belt.
Oda kind of holds up his hands. However, it is my understanding that this feud was resurrected by Admiral Azalon for her own purposes and out of her own feelings for Keth. On the side of SupQuit'aH, it had lain dormant for decades. I will state now that I have no particular interest in pursuing this blood feud. Well, I guess it's not technically a blood feud. Pursuing this vendetta between our houses. However, if that is the plan for Keth Shishrir, then we will, of course, meet blade for blade and strike for strike.
I'll say this once, just to make it perfectly clear. If I was going to continue this little pissing contest between our clans and houses, you'd already know about it.
Spoken like a warrior. Then I will give you this piece of intelligence to take back to Varder and to keep in your own mind. Azalon managed to recruit at least some segment of Andorians to revivifying this vendetta, up to the point where they struck against our representative on the High Council, on Kronos itself. So, within Federation borders, there may be others who will wish to reignite old flames.
Huh. You see a weird smile come across his face? I may have to return home to have some discussions about that.
Now, did you just come here to introduce yourself and to add your odor to the place, or did you have other business?
Oh, I have plenty of other business, and secondly, I smell fantastic.
I see that the Tellarites' stunted senses are more than just a legend.
But let's skip the foreplay, shall we, and get down to business?
By all means.
Now, while I don't know your exact purpose in the area, I'm not a complete moron. I assume that you're here for the long haul. Would that be correct?
We will be in the area for some time, until such time as matters at home or the Chancellor directs us otherwise.
Well, depending on your purpose and if you would be willing to be forthright with it, there may be certain advantages and information sharing that could be freely given. Like you've seen, I'm a rather forthright person and quite happy to give information when needed. I hope that can be returned by an honourable Hod like you.
The Klingon Empire and the Federation are allies, and having fought beside the 10th Fleet more than once, and quite recently with your Commander Varder, I am predisposed to goodwill towards your Tiger Squadron. I'm willing to cooperate as far as duty and honor and our own allegiances to our respective polities allow. So, I will be forthright with you. Are you familiar with the Shackleton Expanse?
Yes, I served some time in there before we ended up being redeployed.
And Oda will tap the table to bring up a map. The Federation, during less friendly times between our peoples, exploited a opportunity when the Empire was focused elsewhere, and the Romulans were, as is all too often the case, busy tearing themselves down as they tried to figure out exactly what kind of empire they wanted, to slip between our two polities and anti-Spinward. Therefore, creating this sector, these multiple sectors of Federation space quite quickly, and opening up the Shackleton Expanse to further expansion. Now, of course, Narendra Station was originally intended as a allied station where our two peoples could share in the exploration and exploitation of this region. But events has since conspired to at least slow further work in that direction. Many in the Empire consider this an end run around our borders in order to take advantage of an opportunity to expand where otherwise the Klingon Empire might naturally have moved. You can see our perspective on this, I assume, whether or not you agree with it.
It doesn't matter whether I agree or not. I can understand where you're coming from.
Now, and I'll bleep bloop the map to show the rimward extent of the current Federation borders. Now, your Federation has embarked on a rather aggressive expansionist wave along the rimward section of your border. This tall grass sector, I believe you have taken to calling it, reinforcing a route of logistics and supply, building new star bases, stationing the 10th Fleet in the area, and sending out numerous ships into previously unexplored or minimally surveyed space. Ultimately, of course, with the idea of expanding Federation territory and influence.
Yeah, that's generally what the Federation does.
Well, the Klingon Empire is also interested in rimward expansion. You may consider us, House SupQit'aH, as the first outpost in our own efforts in this region of space. Not directly bordering Federation space, of course, not in the Shoshu sector. We recognize and respect our allies' borders. But you can assume a one way or another permanent and growing Klingon presence in this part of the quadrant.
That's just given me an interesting proposition.
I can call in my Ferengi if you're here to talk business.
I'd rather pass. Dealing with Ferengi is a ache I don't wish to deal with.
Yes, more than once I've wanted to decorate the walls of my office with his ears.
See, is that just your Ferengi, or is that all Ferengi we have that with?
To this point in my life experience, all Ferengi.
Yeah, that's weird. But anyway, judging by your map, yes, you have a basic understanding of where the Shoshu powers are. Well, not Shoshu, the Peugeot, my apologies. And you wish to keep respect borders, correct? Yes? So, if you were to, shall we say, go to the sector west and south of the Peugeot sector, and maybe keep heading, not west, east and south, and keep heading east.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I got my east and west wrong. You understand where I'm going with this?
Right.
But if you continued that way, I would see no issues whatsoever.
We have no interest in conquering this Peugeot sector. To my mind, the Federation is welcome to it. If you can extract your extremities from this meat grinder, good luck to you.
Oh, trust me, we're trying. And I can provide you with some extra sensor data from when I headed further south. That could assist you in your efforts.
Very well. I believe we can make, at least between us, an informal arrangement. We are interested in east and south of the Peugeot subsector.
That's perfectly fine. And considering you don't really have a base of operations, until that's set up, I can make arrangements for you to stay within Choshku and DSE, and hopefully when you have a base of operations fully set up, we can begin trade between ourselves, along with the other Peugeot systems.
My current mission is to set up said base.
Well, we can support you until that happens, because we do have resources available.
Any resource-rich systems in that area?
Within, it's possible. You'd have to go over the data fully. I just got basic scans before I went into basically a long hit-and-run action.
The access to DSE's facilities for repair, resupply, and shore leave would be most welcome until we can establish our presence more firmly in the area. And once we have, of course, any bases that we set up, the Federation will also be welcome to, should your squadron, our future deployments, need to take advantage of our resources for repair and refit.
Agreed. There's no reason why we can't continue such an amicable relationship.
We are allies, although not necessarily always ones who are comfortable with each other. It is my belief that this alliance benefits both of our peoples and should be continued as far as is practicable and possible. I hope that between us we can make it practicable and possible.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you can set up your power base in the area, and obviously you go your way, we go our way, which would be more than likely westward, we would have a steady border between the both of us, knowing we're not going to start picking fights.
Right up until the Gorn realize they're boxed in and, like any cornered reptile, turn and bite us both.
I've dealt with the Gorn before.
Yes, they're large, but not so large.
Also not too bright.
There is that as well. Very well, Captain. I think we understand one another. I shall take your views and our agreements back to the Chancellor, and do you take mine back to your fleet captain and sector admiral, or whoever it is, up your chain.
As a last piece of goodwill, over the last week, and probably for the next week or two, I arranged a dueling tournament on the holodeck, so members of the Klingon delegation and those who wish to join in can work off frustrations or any excess energy. So if any of your crew wish to partake or challenge anyone, you have I shouldn't say safe space, that's not really a Klingon thing, but a space where you're not going to kill half of your crew.
I will take that under advisement.
Also, if anyone wants to pick a fight with me, go ahead, but I'm busy.
As am I. The more successful we become, the more paperwork seems to mount.
I know, I keep doing my fleet admiral's job, fleet captain's job as well.
I have but one request to the Honorable Penny. This information you spoke of, would you be able to transmit it to the Dark Spear? So I may get the start on my mission.
The data you spoke of earlier, Captain.
Oh, okay. Sure, why not? And he'll pass you a data pad with the sensor readings.
This is very much appreciated.
I've got more data elsewhere for other things, which I will transfer to. I'll just like point between the three of you who wants the information.
My flagship and will act as the clearinghouse. Any information should come here.
Okay, so I'll send certain informations across to you. If you wish for anything else about the surrounding areas, just reach out and I'll try and get it sent across.
Excellent, Captain. I must admit this meeting has been much more productive than I expected.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, the issues we're in at the moment with these Peugeot people is because we tried to play nice. I'm not the nice person here.
We understand each other well.
But it was a pleasure, House SupQit'aH, and I shall take my leave.
Fairly well, Captain Pend, until we meet again.
Agreed. And Penn will head out.
I really should adjust my title.
What was that? I didn't understand you there.
I need to adjust my title in the chat
Oh,
to show that I'm head of Anders.
I closed the wrong thing. Okay, so what you put in the Discord takes up at the south side of the basic sector map, it looks like?
Yeah, it connects off from Peugeot as its navigation point.
Yeah, there's WIFOs. Okay. Okay.
Some of the yellow be possibly a resource-rich system.
Those would be the Staffy systems.
Which are tributary to the Woohoo?
No, they were a vassal of the Quaco Principality, but they're currently in the midst of a succession war.
Okay.
And the red area in the upper right is the Wuxo.
Okay. And they are aligned with...
They are yet another faction that is succeeding from the Quaco Principality, or succeeding the throne.
Ah, so the Quaqua's in all sorts of a mess.
Yeah, because that map basically starts from here,
Right,
and then reaches down. Because that's where the Achilles basically zipped around for a while.
okay.
You can learn more from that data, but you'd have to pore over it and do tests, like an actual task roll to figure out what exactly this means. Because you notice the format isn't what we're used to, and that's because it's using a different mapping system. It uses the Peugeot standard, not the Klingon or Federation standard.
Right.
So it complicates reading the sensors a little bit, the navigation charts a little bit.
Because Hana is trying to decipher where a good place to start is, without getting into any unnecessary bloodshed.
That all said, before we go there, is there anything else you wish to do in the war room before we go to the strategic view and start doing some actions?
Give me a
I see.
second.
The only thing I can really think of would be to make sure and send an encrypted burst of all this to Kargan on Kronos so that he knows exactly, he's up to date on what we're getting into.
Yep, that will be arranged.
Okay. But I can't think of anything else right now. How about you guys?
Challenge me, cowards.
I gotta do that research real quick to see if I can find anything of the sectors which are south of us, Rimward, if I got that correct, which
Yep.
we don't know much about.
That'll be the strategic next scene.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, we will move to the strat view proper. New scene at this point properly. We'll change the music to indicate.
Have no momentum to get you, so take that.
Yeah.
This is a big map.
Yeah, and that's not, and like I said, this is only a fraction of the entire sector. This is just a subsector, one part of the larger sector as a whole. Mapping sector's hard, by the way. Yes.
So, what do you think of the splitting plan?
Sounds good. It's like we're Portugal and Spain or something.
I was about to say. Oh, right.
It saves us constantly fighting each other.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's pretty much the area I was kind of interested in too. I definitely need to connect up to the big blob of the Empire over in the east eventually, anyway.
I will advise all of you that Lord Singer since you have a amicable relation with DSE, is gonna take up a semi-permanent residence on DSE, so she can start gathering her own information and using her contacts there, as well as the Midnight Watch, because they have a headquarter here, one of their branch offices here, so she can use them as a resource that she's going to try to pull from. She would have been doing this for the last couple of weeks, but she's basically trying to maintain tread water with the house to make sure everything was okay until the house leader was able to make a call which way he wanted to go, or what the chancellor even wanted. So she didn't want to make any moves yet. You may consider her a resource that you can request actions out of, by the way. She's just... Actually, I should note her on the map so you know that. That'd be helpful. You know that she's there.
Cool.
Alright, so who wishes to perform an action at this time?
I know both of you guys had something you definitely wanted to do right off, so go ahead.
Yeah, let's tap into my sources. Let's see what we can find out about the southern sectors, because we don't have a lot of intelligence on them.
So are you, how are you going about gathering this information? Like, are you going to
let's check the FCA databases first. Ferengi traders go far and wide, so they could have gone there as well.
Any information I can get concerning this area would be beneficial.
Reason plus con, difficulty 3, assisted by the Venter's Dreams computers plus con, which I think
I will use my new chief pilot officer for this task. I will activate him.
That would be Zendon, I believe.
Zendon, that is the one. I'll give you a threat as well.
Okay.
Will his focus in astronavigation apply here?
Yes.
Oh, that is 2 successes and 1 comp.
Your ship gets to assist. Hopefully it gets you the rest of the way.
Yeah, the Venter's Dream. Where'd you put it?
It should be under player controlled ships.
Oh, yeah, got it. With a computer's con. What the heck? That's wrong. Whoa, thank you, Winter's Dream.
4 hits, gained 1 inspiration. Damn it. Momentum.
Yeah. With a complication, though. Sadly, we don't get to quash it. Unless... And hear me out on this one. There is a talent which I would like to use. It is called... I will give it to you in a second. It is called Never Place Friendship Above Profit. Ferengi accept and tolerate self-serving behavior as a natural part of business. So, whenever you get a complication, you can add 1 threat to avoid suffering any effect from those complications personally, while everyone else suffers from the complication.
That would work if it was a Rillis, but it's a support character, so support characters have to go up through the other means.
Sure. Okay.
Something to keep in mind for Aurelius, for sure, though. Or for this person.
I do have it. I do have that talent.
If only you did the roll. But you have had lesser dice, so.
Yeah.
So the complication will fall. I forgot about that. I like that one. It's like, I don't suffer. Everyone else does, but I don't. And that's what's important. So yeah. What Zendon learns is that there is economically the free worlds that are closest to you, which would normally be the best places to shoot for, they don't have very well developed spaceports, which means trading with them is kind of annoying. The Staffy faction of the Quaqua are rather locked down due to the raids and due to their war. You can get in there, but one has to be careful not to be flying too large a fleet, otherwise you will attract the Staffy carrier fleet to your location. The big complication is that traffic is heavily monitored within Staffy worlds. So if you start passing through any of their worlds, as seen in the Discord, you will likely be monitored either by a sensor station or a carrier. Yeah.
Okay. Zendon, forward this to the show and put a nice bow on it.
The last thing I'll say is that the Ferengi Commerce Authority they have traded in this region, so they actually are aware of the region to a degree. Not to the extent, say, the Cardassians or the Klingons or what have you, but a diamond or two have been floating around out here. And I'll even go one further and say that some diamonds that you know will be your rivals economically are trading in the area. So you're not sure exactly where they are, but you do know that they're out there, and if you go sniffing for profit, someone else is going to be probably sniffing there too.
Interesting. Okay, I will inform Joe Oda of the situation. And nicely messaged to him over the datapad.
That information is so shared. Would either Oda or Hona like to act at this time?
Hona, you have anything?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Oda is going to try and look into contacting Star Admiral Koshi. I think she's probably the one to talk with.
Like I said, right, Ona is trying to make heads or tails of this and see what planets are easily approachable without landing in the middle of a civil war.
Well, and remember, you don't have to stick to any of the maps we have. You can go beyond.
Yeah.
So that'll be your action after this one, I believe, there, Hona? Trying to figure out which one will be of ease to you.
Of ease, but not too easy.
Yeah. Hey, I conquered a moon. You can have it. It's a base of operations. Go away. Yeah, I knew you were going to say no to that, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to land in the middle of the Qua Civil War either.
Yeah.
I mean, silly question, but does Oda ask Pen for codes that the Federation used to talk to her?
I would think not, because I'm trying to establish my own conduit. It will take longer, but it won't involve the Federation.
Less strings attached, as it were.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Presence Command, difficulty 3, assisted by your house's rep and influence.
Okay. Presence Command 3. I don't really know if I have a focus that will apply in this, but I will give you a threat for bold and the third die. What am I doing in terms of the kind of focuses that might apply, just to check?
Well, you are aware of some Qua in the region, and you're aware of the Bert Udek and the Luluri system. Like, that's something you can look up in the directory on DSE. So it's a matter of diplomatically reaching out and trying to work your way toward contact, nation-to-nation contact to Star Admiral Koshi. So it's getting people to get you to talk to the right person rather than some functionary or some subordinate.
Persuasion, then?
I'll take that, yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow. There's how Oda's rolling. Okay, I'll re-roll the 20. Rolling like I'm playing Call of Cthulhu or something. Okay, so I got rid of the comp anyway. There's one success, and then the house is influence and rep. I think that's a 15. I have it on my sheet now. Yeah. No, 14.
Go play. Go play.
Oh,
Wow.
no.
Just exit on that right now.
Wow. Okay. Let me just. Let me try all this again. Okay, I'm going to spend a determination on a dictate. The one about making allies. Let me find them. Second dictate. No, sorry. Fourth. Make allies when possible and gather strength.
I will take that, yep.
Okay. And let me just... I'll re-roll the 2 whiffs on mine.
The 19 and 18 are being re-rolled.
Yep. Oh, wait, I'm not rolling 17 dice. That's my attribute number.
17 dice later. Hey, I happen to hit it.
That's right.
By cheating.
Okay, so I hit it. There is still a complication on the roll, unless you will take a momentum and a threat to squash it.
No, I've never been that nice.
What's a shot?
Yeah, you're able to get in contact with Sir Admiral Koshi. You're able to see each other over a communication over subspace after going through one functionary and another, and then eventually going up the ranks. You start learning a bit about how the Qua work, very military system, so it's just a matter of finding the next highest ranked person and climbing your way up till you got to the Admiral. You find her over in the subspace screen. You see that she is seated in a rather functional office. Lots of bright blues and hues of blue. The crossed swords gets a green sunburst behind her.
Star Admiral.
Ah, Aurora. It has been some time. I heard you had to be ministered for a while.
You know these Starfleet doctors. They poke and prod at one even when nothing is truly wrong. Once I realized I had become nothing more than a scientific specimen to them, I quickly returned to my ship.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're well and that the examinations were cursory at most, but I do have to ask you why you went to so much trouble to contact me. Are you seeking my hand? The strong guiding hand of a Quaqua lady, perhaps?
Not today. I wanted to inform you that my forces and I will be in this region for at least a little while longer, and I wanted to see how goes the secession in the Quaqua Principality. I understand there is some turmoil.
It is a rather violent and vocal disagreement over the destiny of the throne and who the next prince will be. That is the most I, as a Star Admiral, could reasonably say to a foreign officer.
Of course. I understand that while things in the home systems are not going terribly well, your subjugated vassals have decided that this would be an excellent opportunity to break away, or at least to attempt to.
Well, the ambitions of lesser polities are their mistakes, and that is why the guiding hand of the throne, its grace, is going to be pressed upon them as it was in the past.
Yet it seems to me that those who contend for the principality might well prefer that Quaqua forces not be unnecessarily diverted to such secondary sectors and concerns during this time of crisis.
I wouldn't call it a crisis, Hud. Simply a very vocal disagreement.
This time of political readjustment, then.
She shrugs and smiles.
Now, I assume that you are familiar with this, the Federation's prime directive.
I'm quite familiar with this strange fascination they have.
Yes, it is odd. Even it prevents them from lending a helping hand even to those who have extended that same type of helping hand to them in the past. It is quite unreasonable, and I've never understood it, to be honest. I've always, however, been grateful that the Klingon Empire does not operate under such ridiculous constraints. We are more than capable and quite willing to assist valued allies, particularly those who we have stood beside on the field of battle, as honorable warriors should. I do hope the Star Marines from the Dusk Station reached your homeworld in safety. I told them to seek you out.
Their loyalties to the lawful military authority has been recognized, and their reports of your valor have been noted in the rolls. If you wish to inject yourself into a Quaqua conversation, I am willing to permit your presence in the palace, so you may treat with the court and the admiralty.
If you think that is the best way for the Empire and the Principality to begin what should be a strong alliance, I of course am more than happy to. However, it might be that the assistance I could offer might... how am I going to say this? However, it also might be worth considering if House SupQit'aH could assist you with these attempted breakaways. Perhaps we could insert ourselves there, allowing certain other forces the freedom to move elsewhere where they might perhaps be more useful. I know that your people are not particularly fond of outsiders, so perhaps we can serve best on the fringes, at least to begin.
Well, as a Star Admiral of the Royal Navy, I cannot possibly request a foreign fleet to act independent of the wishes of the Admiralty and Throne. That would be most unladylike of me to allow a mad alien gentleman to go bandying about in conversations he doesn't know the topics of. But if you wish to have So I cannot ask you to do that, and I could not permit your gentle sensibilities to be pressed on such a matter. But if you wish to be educated on the matter and perhaps reformulate your question, I might write a letter of introduction to the Baron Udek in the glories system. I believe your planetary and terrestrial minds may be able to align in the same direction.
I do recall you speaking of him. Yes, such a letter of introduction would be most appreciative. But do bear one thing in mind, Star Admiral. Klingon men do not suffer the same psionic physiological effects as your own. In my species, men and women serve together and fight together on the front lines. It is well not to underestimate the Klingon male, or female for that matter.
I will say to you, as the leading admiral of this Royal Navy, that I am the preeminent expert on alien affairs. I am quite aware of the extent and abilities of the Klingon Imperial forces. I'm simply extending the etiquette as appropriate, a lady of my rank to a gentleman of your rank, or a lord of your rank, I suppose, would be the appropriate address.
Very well. And again, a letter of introduction to Baron Udek would be most appreciated.
Very good. I hope you both enjoy your tea. Good day.
Good hunting. And I'll cut the connection.
You may roll insight plus... insight command difficulty of 3. There's something about the conversation that's off.
Okay, yeah. That's probably a complication is what's off about it.
How did you know?
Let's see. Take a threat for bold and the third die.
Okay.
Don't think I really have a focus that applies here, so let's see what we can do. There we
go. She was speaking like a person who is being monitored.
A person who's being monitored, you said?
Yep. because you've met her in person, she's a lot more dismissive of her culture's. I mean, she'll still say certain things just to get a rise out of people, but she has somewhat of a reputation among the officers as being very forthright and understanding of how aliens work. Like, she knows. She hinted at that fact, but she was talking the way a Star Admiral's supposed to talk when speaking with an alien male. But it's like, there's something else that she wanted to say that she couldn't say, hence the invitation to the, to Cooley. But it's like, no, I don't want to go there. Oh, okay, then, well, you can talk with him. Hopefully that helps. That's all I can do.
Okay. I didn't see that. My bad.
No, that's what the insight roll's for. It's like, I'll point that out to you.
Okay. But now that's cut off, and I've got to go see the Baron, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
La Hona. You are the next to act. You wish to find somewhere of some use to you. So, are you looking for a base that's really good to base, do you want it to be strategically helpful, or do you want it to be something that's easy to conquer?
Strategic and fairly easy to defend.
I follow. Okay.
Good. And fairly moderately challenging to take over if necessary. Because Hona dearly wants to test out the newest toy of the fleet.
Ha. Reason command, difficulty 3, complication 2, assisted by your choice of ships, computers plus command, either the Quilu or the Huknekdij.
I'll take the Dark Spear as the assisting ship.
Roger.
And I'll give you the necessary threat for an additional 2 dice.
Okay.
So a total of 4 dice.
Oh, I follow. I know. Yeah, okay. I follow.
I would like to use my bold action to reroll that 20.
Okay.
For bold command.
Roger.
Thank God.
And the assist die from your ship. Ship doesn't help.
That didn't help at all.
Let's see. Reason. Command. So that is... Whoops. Oh, no, we're good. Sorry, I just moved things around weird. I count 2 hits. You needed 3. Do you have any other rerolls or any assist you wish to summon?
Let's see what I can do with determination.
Oh, I am... No, never mind. You have the right idea. Never mind. Got my stuff mixed up in my head, sorry.
I can use will not be I don't know. Will not be defeated.
Sure.
This task.
Yeah, I'll take it, especially considering it's your fealty quest. So you're like, I kind of need to figure this out. This is very important.
So I'm gonna reroll that 19. Or no, the
19 and the 13?
19. Oh no, 19 was the ship.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it was the 15 then. Yeah, because the 15 and the 13 were the misses.
Yeah. So that's 2.
Hey, there you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 5 hits. 2 inspiration generated. Momentum. I'm mixing up my game systems.
Creeping in.
It's doing it every night.
That 19 is a complication, unfortunately. But not a whole lot you can do about it, but you do succeed. So what you learn... Let's see.
And also, a legend for this map would be very helpful, indicating which color goes with what faction.
That's part of the challenge, actually. But I'll note here.
Because I'm currently seeing what could be 4 different factions. And possibly allies.
Okay, checking my legend. One moment, please.
Yeah, it's not very impressive.
Oh, boo. Nope, wrong.
Not every one-liner can be a great one.
Fiddlesticks. I'm looking for this. So part of the challenge is that when you're looking into the worlds, you're kind of having to translate what their system is into one that you can use. But you don't want to, and your character probably doesn't want to spend forever looking into it. He wants to get going. He wants to get out there and conquer some stuff, not sit there reading navigation charts and translating one language into another, and then so on and so on. But you do find one planet that should be a challenge, and it is an independent world, so it shouldn't be too bad to take on. It doesn't even have... I'm going to double check my map again. It does not have any... it has a starport, but it doesn't have a major base, but it does have a bevy of piracy in its region. So if you do conquer it, no one's going to get mad, because the only people who really control it are pirates. If anything, you're liberating the place. That's how you could spin it if you wish to spin it.
That's it's doable.
Let me get you the stats on that planet.
And
You can determine if you want to bother.
Means there are resources there to be had. So sounds perfect. Sounds like a perfect test run for the Dark Sphere.
Oh, sorry. I have to translate the map to myself as well, and I just found out why this is. You're gonna find out why this planet's a little annoying. But hey, it's better than just straight up attacking like the Chigo or something. Okay, now translate that into something you can use. Do. It's actually on your map here. It might be. just a second.
Which world is it, and what color?
1 second. Sent to a Discord on the stats of the planet.
Okay. So, pilot station, facilities, breathable without systems, 800 million, Gemini 3. Ooh, weapons of strict military nature prohibited. Early industrial age. Space pirates present. Which means there are resources to be had.
Yep, there's resources to be had. There's also a gas giant there that will make. That's always useful for sublight and power generation. And the fact that it's a low-tech world also means that the populace of the planet will be fairly easy to conquer. It's the pirates that make it hard, because there's actually ships in the area that are based in the other planets that are using it as a base of operations. Normally, worlds would have their own planetary defense force or some sort of star navy of some variety to drive them off, but they don't have one. So, but yeah. Any questions about the information I've given you so far?
No, based on what I'm looking at, the atmosphere is very similar to that of Kronos. Yeah, should be pretty good for a base of operations.
Very good. Pend, as our guest character, you may act while these Klingons are plotting and moving about, and the Ferengi as well.
Well, one of the things that I was going to do when I initially created this thing for the Klingon at the event was the comment of, I need to go deal with these rowdy Klingons. So, Pend, whilst probably having one or two people with him with piles of data pads, will be going around dealing with rowdy Klingons.
Before Hona leaves, he will offer this. When I get back, I'll take you up on the offer for the holodeck. For a good old-fashioned spinal session.
Only if you fight with paint sticks. No.
Nope, fist to fist.
Pend will be challenged. But
challenged party, I will use phasers.
punches the phaser out of the air. I didn't know this was a Liefeld version of Star Trek, but anyway, no.
Only a dishonorable person would use a phaser in a fist-to-fist fight challenge.
You think I'm honorable?
Have you seen this jerk's record?
Section 31, remember?
True.
Present security.
As you go about...
Mind you, I am also a relative of the late Commander Torg, who did have an affiliation with Section 31.
You probably would be aware of that, Pend, I'll point out, now that you have time to think about it. Like, Hona didn't ring a bell for a while, and you're like, wait a minute. Why do I know that name?
The names of peons don't concern me. Negotiation is the focus.
What's a part of your organization?
A negotiation I will take, yes.
Okay. I'll give you a threat.
Sure.
I'll reroll.
You hit it on the money. As you're going around dealing with the various Klingons and making sure that, have fun, have your duels, have your drinks, but please don't, this is a station full of people. Try not to make our lives harder. And during all that, you do learn that it seems that there has been a lot of the independent Klingons, like the ones that aren't of House SupQit'aH or Telpak, there's a lot less of them now. You notice you're mostly running into Telpak and SupQit'aH and Andrus Klingons, but you're not running into anyone else. Which is odd, because there used to be a bunch of them here, and now they've slowly kind of, over the last couple weeks, they've kind of gone somewhere else.
Is it gone somewhere else or been absorbed?
Gone somewhere else. Some have been absorbed, because they're like, oh wow, I get to be part of a great house. Awesome. But for the most part, it's they went somewhere. Like you ask someone like, hey, where did so-and-so go? I run to him all the time. Oh, he left. Okay.
Traitor.
Now I need to find out where rogue Klingons have gone. Fantastic.
For a momentum, I'll answer.
Sure.
If I could find the bloody things, where are they? I have tokens for exactly this. Okay. Choose this one. Oh, that was not going to be of any help to them. They can't see that. There we go. They're in the Anat system. Last you heard. As you ask around from people casually.
Okay. Something I'll have to deal with.
New round of actions. But one thing that happens as you're all working away, there is... All of you hear of news that the Woohoo Illuminated Worlds have made an official statement that they are... that any and all Klingon vessels that intend to cross through their space must be decloaked. If they are found in any way to be cloaked within their space, it will be considered a hostile action, and they will be fired upon as pirates.
Duly noted.
Further, in the Qualcomm Principality, the official term, the Qualcomm Principality seems to be denying publicly that they are at war. It's a vigorous political debate over the future of the Principality. Mind you, anyone, like, little children on DSE know that there's a war going on over there, but they're not saying there's one. They're just saying over and over, there isn't one, there isn't one. So knowledge of how the progress of their civil battle is going is minimal. Like, it's only through reports from ships that you'd hear it from, which the only ship that's out that way right now is the Achilles, and the Achilles is basically playing Peacekeeper, sorry, near the Dusk Machine. And I should highlight where it is. So there's nothing happening near the Dusk Machine, at least, but the war could be anywhere. There could be all kinds of things going on. You also know that nothing's happening at Luluri as far as you're aware, because it's close enough that the people from Luluri go to Shosku, people from Shosku go to Luluri. Like, they have a trade relation between each other because of Tiger. Tiger Squadron has a trade alliance with Star Admiral Koshi through the Luluri system. There is no war, Ba Sing Se, yes. But that is the update so far. Is there any actions people wish to take at this time?
At this time, Fauna would like to report to Oda his findings about the QP system.
Okay, I will go to the war room for that, because that sounds like an important conversation. We're going this way now, everybody. Bye. Hold on. I just left the Roll20. 1 second. Oh. We're okay.
If you could share the file you sent me to Oda, that would be very helpful, so you can see what I'm seeing.
Oda, unless you summon Cecile, she won't be present.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Unless you summon Cecile, she will not be present.
Okay.
Unless you want her to be there right away, but otherwise, she's busy.
Yeah, I'll take
I'll
the report alone.
I'll submit it to Cecile later as well.
Okay, here we go. QP?
As soon as you're ready. QP.
Well, that's just a doll of a system right there.
That's perfectly situated for us. Some pirates, would make a good base as soon as I clear out that mess. And it does not belong to any of the other factions in the area.
Cough. Technically, it would belong to the people of Kope, but, from a Klingon point of view, who cares? Just throwing that out there for the audience's benefit.
Exactly.
Yeah, Klingons still celebrate Columbus Day.
Oh, God. Ugh. Crawl up my spine, why don't you? Ugh.
Okay, there it is. 0309. It's my bigger map. Give me just a second here to get myself orientated here. Okay. Do we have any information on the exploitable resources that are present in the system?
That would require reason plus science difficulty of 3, assisted by computers plus science, to determine if that is the case.
Well, I think it is time we activate La Hoka. Would somebody like to play La Hoka to make this role?
Which department are they?
He's under other. He's the Ross's scavenger.
Oh.
But also science guy.
So I should change his rank. He's not a boo anymore. He actually is an officer proper.
Yes, he was one of the ones I promoted for service.
So you summon La Hoka to look over the findings. Who would like to roll for La Hoka?
I could roll
I'll
if
take him.
necessary.
I'll take him, but if Hona wants him, that's cool too.
I believe it is yours, dear Frangie.
Alright, sure.
See if his second talent would apply in this case, Arillis.
Let me see. We need a reason signs, difficulty 3. La Hoka, you said. Where the heck are they located? What?
Other.
Other. La Hoka. There we go. If his second focus would apply, hazardous environments, would that apply? Would you
I'm
say?
sorry, talent. I
Oh,
misspoke.
talent. Let's see. Rasa scavenging techniques. Whenever you attempt a task involving scavenging and you buy one or more d20s by adding threat, then you can reroll any d20s in your dice pool. Sure, I'll give the GM a threat.
It would apply, yep.
Give the GM a threat and roll that for reason signs. Oh, goddamn it, wrong dice.
You hit all of them.
We all do it. Every game, pretty much.
Oh, that is 4 success. 4 successes, yeah.
Yep.
4.
Heck, higher because he has
his
a focus.
Focus and scavenging applies, so that's 5 successes.
Would you like to reroll that 1 and 2? Because, you know, you can reroll if you
No.
want.
Well, I'm quite alright, thank you.
2 gained.
All right.
Oh wait, ship assist, doesn't it?
Yep.
Not that
Go
I'm
ahead.
expecting.
Go ahead and roll that.
I got that.
God, he is living La Vida La Hoka. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you,
oh.
chat. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, not a science vessel.
Time to consult my book of trade. Because you're actually looking up what this place has. Because you're doing your homework. How dare you?
Other GMs would be happy you're doing things like that. No, not this one.
Fine, I guess I will use this system that I really like using for this sort of thing. God.
Fine, I will reward you for doing the things you're supposed to do.
Sorry. For those who are watching, I'm actually using the Traveler 5 book for things like this. Very good resource for, well, running Traveler, but also for making up planets. And also there are details like, what does the planet have? What do they trade in? That sort of thing. Takes into account what kind of world they are, what kind of resources they have available, that sort of stuff. Bit of a read, though, but because it is a tome, because it's more of a...
What's it called again?
Traveler 5, Science Fiction Adventures in the Far Future. The only edition of Traveler I haven't run. Yeah, I haven't run it yet. But I use it for resources, because, yeah. I'll pull for that. Okay, so what do you have? Planet. So that's where all that stuff, if you're seeing stuff in the Discord, that's what, and some of the pictures, that's what that comes from. So, gives me very detailed bits about planets. Okay, so... Do. I lost where I was in the book. There it is. Roll a 5. Two. Sending information to Arillis.
Oda. The system, after some careful scans, has revealed the following. It appears there is various radioactive materials scattered around this system and a large amount of platinum. As for certain commodities, several fine dusts which can be used by artists and painters are also located here, as well as gemstones present around the system.
What about refinable metals for hull materials, duranium?
The scans haven't shown anything yet, but I can keep searching.
I will point out that you can further refine platinum toward that end. It just takes extra steps. It's not ideal, like duranium just straight up is fine, but you can alloy something that's similar to duranium through platinum. Though usually you'd use platinum for like electronics. But you can make duranium out of it if you have a lot of it. And a refinery.
Right.
Which this place has. It has refineries for like other things, like turning iron into steel. Because they're early industrial.
With a little bit of luck, we can turn those into duranium facilities. I mean, the tech is very similar. Just need a little bit work on the refining process.
What draws your attention to this system in particular, Hona?
We would be doing the Koko a favor by ridding them of the pirates and further accessing them as allies.
Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
I'd work towards our relations with them as allies.
And how does this benefit us strategically?
Strategically, it would give us a foothold in this region.
I'll pull you to the map because I can sort of point out where it is. It's just off the map.
It's probably not held by any of the other factions, so we would not be stepping on any toes, so to speak. I've heard that the Kokoa have and having quite a few issues with these pirates.
So basically,
And I
it's
want to
down
find
that
out
way.
why.
Right. This is your quest, Hona. If you believe this is the best system for us to begin with, then by all means, proceed. However, it might not be the worst idea to cast your gaze about a bit more and perhaps find multiple options. And then there might be some of greater value. Although you have done well to find this one, and it may be the best option.
From what I can tell, they are allegiant to no one thus far, and there's 2 adjoining systems that I would also like to take a look at.
As I
And
said,
maybe take all 3.
it is your quest, and this does not appear to be a bad option. The fact that it is somewhat surrounded by polities that are or were in alliance with the Quaqua does present it with some strategic vulnerabilities.
And
However,
they are having the issue with the pirates. So if we can remove them, that might bode well for us.
However, it does also present us with some strategic opportunities should these polities break away and then by doing so become weaker than they were and more open. As I said, you are in command of this operation. I leave it to you.
Understood. Corbinian.
Yeah.
I would like to get some information on coordinates 0310 and 0409, it looks like. The Greyla and the Zahoza.
Okay. 0409 and 0310.
Those are 2 adjoining systems.
All right.
I assume that's the operating theater for these pirates, so-called pirates.
You're looking at Reason plus Command or Con, difficulty 3, assisted by computers, plus your choice of Command or Con.
I'll give you the threat for the few dice. For bold command.
Roger.
Very nice.
1, 2, 3.
And here's the roll for the Dark Spear.
I don't know. Where are you, ship? Oh, yeah. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. 1 momentum generated. And you will learn information about those planets. I will post those in a moment. Because this is basically the last round of actions, so I'll just deal with it after the fact. And you can make your choice where you want to go. Who is next on the last round of actions for the episode?
I suppose Aurelius can make his foray into the into the trade system, as it were, right?
He could, yes. Where would he like to inject himself? In the Federation markets of DSE, or does he want to go to one of these new alien worlds to begin trading?
Well, the one that Joda sent him to, I feel, is a good start. Not in the capital, however, of this. What were they again? A principality or something along those lines, either way. But somewhere maybe on the rim of their borders, try and begin there small and humble, you know?
So you're thinking you want to trade with the Quaqua?
No, not with the Quaqua, the sector that I've been assigned, if possible.
The sector you've been assigned. What sector was that?
Yeah, Oda, do you remember it was some kind of princedom or something? Technocracy, maybe?
Well, Oda had just instructed you to start making contacts and trade in this sector with, where we've got the Woohoo, the Quaqua, the Chigo concern, just this whole area
the
here.
Chigo concern. Let's head over there.
Okay, so the Chigo System Alliance. The Chigo Concern, just for your update, the Chigo Concern was a criminal syndicate that used to run the Chigo worlds and the Chigo people until the Federation chased them out and they fled, which has economically gutted the Chigo Systems Alliance, which means, as any good Frankie knows, a gutted economy is an economy ripe for exploitation. So,
exactly.
So you're going to move to one of these systems. So these systems are fairly well known, and they do have people coming and going. The capital of the three systems that are still there is the Kakaflu system, a Gaia-type world. It's basically where all the rich people used to live. Faifutu is a place where a lot of people who aren't part of the government per se, but they work, they live, they travel. Your everyday Chigoan. And then there was
something though. They say that you said that their economy is pretty much in shambles, right?
Yes.
How does this stand for prices of food and other commodities which are readily available in the Federation?
Well, the thing is, they used to have they until very recently, what they were dependent on a type of replicator that the Chigo Concern sold them. The thing is, the Concern gave them built-in obsolescence replicators. That is to say, replicators that had batteries that ran out, and you had to buy the battery to refill it, which defeats the purpose of having a replicator. Starfleet Federation has since fixed that, so the replicators do work. However, the food that they replicate is fine, so they're not like starving in the streets or nothing. But if you want like really nice cooked food, not cooked food, but like non-replicated foods, they only have one real planet they can do that out of, and they don't have a trade relation with the Federation yet. And the Woohoo kind of shut them out, and the Quaqua tried to conquer them recently. So they're kind of dependent on trading with the free world and growing it themselves. So it's like they aren't starving, but at the same time, they're not really getting to eat luxury foods either.
Okay, well, I'm going to do what is called a pro-trader move. And I want to buy a bulk of Klingon blood wine, human wine, if possible as well, replicated or not, sent to Hall, and as much groceries as I can on the Deep Space Station, and load them up into the ship. And we're going to sell them at an incredibly skewed price to these poor, poor people struck by war.
That's terrible. Bloody Frankie. Well, there's two ways you can go about this. You can roll for it. Actually, no, I know you are going to roll for it, but we're going to determine how good of a thing you are getting. So you can either do presence or control. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say daring, because you're not doing anything too weird. You're buying stuff like people do. You're buying food, a lot of it, but you're buying food. Presence or control plus command or con. Difficulty of... I'll up the complication a little bit here on this final round. Oh, the difficulty, sorry, and the complication, because I said that first. That's what I get. Presence or control plus command or con. Difficulty of 3, complication of 2. Your ship can assist with computers plus command or con.
Okay. Let me begin then. After this, I'll have one more thing to do, and then it's pretty much done. I'm gonna use a momentum. Or actually, am I? Hang on. Yes, I will use a momentum. Will my focus in negotiation work here?
Yes.
Those are 2 successes. I will see if the ship can get me one more. Ship. Winter's Dream. Oh man, it's got some bad stats. Okay, so Command Con, we said, like...
You have 3 successes there, don't you? Because you have a focus?
Oh yes, is the 4 crit then?
Yeah, because you have command of 5, don't you?
Yes. Can you... Wait, are you sure computers plus command or con? I need assist... Oh, computers plus command. Okay, so that's an 11. Nothing from the ship. But, yeah, okay, we got the 3. So, food bought.
Alright, so you have bought for yourself. Now to borrow from Dune a little bit. You have bought for yourself luxury food advantage. Now what you can do, if you want, is spend threat or momentum to increase the quality of goods that you get. Basically, for every 2 of either threat or momentum you spend, it increases the quality. What that means is that it's an advantage that not only hits, but like helps you make it easier. But if it's a higher quality, like say quality 1, if you succeed at the roll with that item, you get an additional bonus momentum for that task. Okay. For each quality above 0 it is.
I'll give you 2 momentum and 2 threat. I figure this system has a lot of royals looking to indulge their avarices, so to say.
So you spend quite a bit of money and buy from some people maybe you're not supposed to buy from, but you're like, but it's all a bunch of nice, it's really good luxury food, like a lot of it.
Next things, I would like to... You said their replicator was busted, right?
They have been fixed by this time.
By this time they've been fixed, but are they unreliable because they run on batteries?
No, that was the problem they used to have. They only just had them repaired like, oh god, I want to say like 3 weeks ago.
The problem is that they serve slop, mostly.
They're replicated, so some people, it's fine, but it's like if you want luxury food, you kind of can't because they don't grow and no one wants to trade with them.
Okay, well, one last thing. I'd like to head over to the nearest tavern on the Deep Space Station.
Mm-hmm. And
I'd like to ask the owner of this establishment if I can purchase some of his recipes for the replicator.
For a momentum and a threat, you can do that.
They're yours. We will also sell those at exorbitant prices.
So I'll create another advantage here.
It's a bit.
Replicator recipe.
Good.
I can't spell recipe. Thank you, spell check. Novel replicator recipe. Boop. You can spend threat if you want that to be higher quality.
2 threat, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a 2 threat.
Very good.
So we can have those quality rectiginos.
What, no spring wine?
Everybody loves a rectigino.
Ugh, too bitter for me. Way too strong. Give me milk tea.
Cool.
With way too much sugar. I want some tea with my sugar and milk, thank you.
Of course.
With some milk tea with his milk toast.
Hey! And lastly, the person who's gonna die today, SupQit'aH, what are you up to?
Okay. I think I'm going to start putting things in motion to set up a meeting with the Baron.
Are you meeting him on his planet or on your ship? Like in his palace or on your ship?
Considering he has space madness, I guess I better meet him on the ground.
I was wondering if you'd remember that. That's all I was asking. Actually, that was me throwing a comp at you, so I really should make myself pay for that. Presence plus command difficulty of 3. I think I'll up that, but influence plus your rep. Let's up that complication up a little bit. And difficulty by 1. So diff 4, comp 4.
Presence command, diff 4, comp 4, influence, and your rep. Okay.
As the Baron is being a lot less understanding than the Star Admiral is.
Fair enough.
This Ferengi has lobes, chat said earlier.
Anyway, I can use my trait leader of House SupQit'aH to bring something down.
Sure.
Arguing that, he's a Baron, but, I'm also a pretty big deal.
Yep. You can bring down either the complication or difficulty by 1.
Let's bring down the comp. Okay, let's see. Don't really have a great value to spend a determination on. I guess I could do the dictate again.
Dwayne, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll spend determination on dictate 4 again, the making allies.
Yep. I'll take that.
Then I will
What?
give you 2 threat for the 3rd/4th die. To 4. Yeah, and 3 more for I'll roll 4 plus the 1 for the determination spend. That's 15. Persuasion for a focus.
I will take it.
Okay. Bump. Complication is now 3, 18, 19, 20.
Good.
It's 4, 5, 6.
One moment, please.
8.
You gained 4 momentum. Plus, don't forget to roll your influence plus rep.
Oh, yes. House influence plus my rep, so influence is 10, so 15.
I am going to have to bring this game to a rapid close. I have a severe thunderstorm in my area, and I'd rather not get shocked.
You cut out there.
I was saying that there's a severe thunderstorm warning in my area, so I need to bring this game to a close rather rapidly.
Okay. Massive success. I gained 6 total momentum on that.
I will say that you were able to wrap that. You were able to get that meeting with the Baron for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna just note that I'm gonna spend for some advantages there.
Yep. The last thing I will say is, of course, thank all of you for playing, and the customary credit to Kevin MacLeod for the music that you are hearing for the most part. We didn't have any music from Wingless Seraph today, but always credit to them. Check out both these places if you like music. And for now, you all have a good one, and I will see you all next week when there isn't lightning coming at me. But yes, have a good one. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.